Bugatti didn't think that we were going to be able to separate this car in half.
Can't do that in a garage. There's just a few places in the world with the right equipment to be able to do that.
Amazon and Netflix are two of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. Every year, they spend billions of dollars trying to find stories that can attract millions of viewers and keep people watching for hours. These companies compete for movies, television shows, documentaries, sports rights, and even famous creators who already have loyal audiences. That is why recent discussions around Mat Armstrong have attracted so much attention. Mat Armstrong is not a Hollywood actor, a television star, or a professional racing driver. He is a car builder from Leicester who became famous by buying damaged vehicles and bringing them back to life on YouTube. Yet today, many people believe his story has become so powerful that it has caught the attention of major streaming platforms. Reports and rumors have suggested that both Amazon and Netflix have been watching his rise closely, trying to understand why millions of people around the world keep returning to his videos. Whether these discussions ever become a real deal or not, the fact that such speculation exists shows how much Mat Armstrong's influence has grown. What started in a small garage filled with tools and broken parts has slowly developed into one of the most fascinating success stories in the automotive world. Even more surprising is the fact that this journey was never carefully planned. There was no giant company behind him, no expensive television production team, and no marketing machine pushing his content to audiences. Instead, everything grew from simple videos that showed real work, real mistakes, and real challenges. That authenticity became the foundation of his success. Long before people were talking about Amazon, Netflix, or even Bugatti, Mat Armstrong was living a very different life. He grew up around cars because his father owned a garage. From an early age, he spent time around engines, tools, and mechanics. While many children spent their free time playing games or watching television, Mat was learning how machines worked. He watched experienced mechanics solve problems and slowly began understanding how vehicles were put together. These experiences gave him valuable knowledge. But at the time, nobody could have predicted where that knowledge would eventually lead. Cars were important in his life, but they were not his main focus during his teenage years. Instead, BMX riding became his biggest passion. What began as a hobby soon turned into something much more serious. He trained regularly, competed in events, and worked hard to improve his skills. His dedication paid off as he became a professional BMX rider and traveled to competitions across Europe. For a young athlete, it seemed like the perfect future. He was doing something he loved while building a career around it. The excitement of competition, the thrill of performing difficult tricks, and the opportunity to travel made BMX the center of his world. However, life often changes direction when people least expect it. During a competition in Germany, Mat suffered a serious crash that damaged his shoulder. At first, the injury did not appear career-ending. Many athletes experience injuries and eventually return to competition. Unfortunately, this situation was different. The shoulder never fully recovered, and over time it became clear that continuing his BMX career would be extremely difficult. The dream he had spent years building slowly started to disappear. There was no dramatic farewell or emotional final event. Instead, the career faded away quietly, leaving uncertainty behind. Suddenly, the future that once seemed clear became completely unclear. He had to find a new direction in life without knowing exactly where to go. At that moment, nobody was talking about streaming platforms, giant entertainment companies, or multi-million-pound hypercars. He was simply a young man trying to figure out what came next after losing the path he had worked so hard to follow. Yet, sometimes the biggest opportunities arrive after the most difficult setbacks. The end of one chapter often creates the beginning of another, even if that new beginning is impossible to recognize at first. For Mat Armstrong, the loss of BMX would eventually lead him back toward the world of cars, a world that would change his life in ways nobody could have imagined. After the BMX chapter ended, life did not suddenly become easier for Mat Armstrong. In fact, it became much more uncertain. For years, he had focused on becoming a successful rider, and now that dream was gone. Like many people facing an unexpected setback, he found himself searching for direction. There was no clear plan waiting for him, and no obvious opportunity that promised success. Instead, he entered a period where survival became the main goal. He took different jobs simply to earn money and keep moving forward. Some days involved working in retail, while other days involved food deliveries or bar work. These jobs helped pay the bills, but they did not provide the sense of purpose he had once felt while competing in BMX. Every morning brought the same question: what comes next? While many people would have become discouraged, Matt continued working and looking for opportunities. During this period, YouTube was not a serious business idea. It was simply a platform where he occasionally uploaded videos. Most of the content focused on BMX clips and moments from his daily life. There was no professional strategy behind it. He was not studying algorithms or trying to build a media company. Like thousands of other creators, he was simply sharing pieces of his world online. The difference was that he possessed a skill that many viewers found fascinating. Years spent around garages had given him mechanical knowledge that could solve problems most people would never attempt to tackle. Eventually, that skill would become the foundation of everything that followed. The turning point arrived through a car that most people would have ignored. It was an Audi TT that had been damaged and written off. To many buyers, it looked like a bad investment. Repair costs seemed high. The work looked complicated, and there was no guarantee that the project would succeed. Yet Matt saw something different. Instead of seeing a broken car, he saw a challenge. He believed the vehicle could be repaired, and more importantly, he believed the process would be interesting to document. Rather than simply fixing the car privately, he decided to film every step of the rebuild and share it online. At the time, this decision probably seemed small. Countless creators upload videos every day without gaining much attention. But this project would prove different. One reason was authenticity. Modern audiences are often surrounded by highly polished content where everything appears perfect. In contrast, Matt showed a reality of mechanical work. Problems were not hidden. Mistakes were not removed. Unexpected setbacks remained part of the story. Viewers watched as challenges appeared and solutions were discovered. This made the content feel genuine and relatable. Instead of watching a perfect expert who always knew the answer, people saw someone working through real situations step by step. That honesty created trust, and trust created an audience. As more viewers discovered the Audi TT series, they became invested in the outcome. They wanted to know whether the car would be finished successfully. They wanted to see how each problem would be solved. Most importantly, they wanted to return for the next episode. This repeat viewership became the engine behind the channel's growth. Soon one rebuild led to another. The project became more ambitious. The cars became more valuable, and the audience became larger. Every new challenge attracted fresh viewers, while existing fans continued following the journey. Slowly, a simple YouTube channel started transforming into something much bigger. Without realizing it, Mat Armstrong was creating a new kind of automotive entertainment. It was not just about cars. It was about problem-solving, persistence, risk, and determination. Viewers were not only interested in the vehicles themselves, they were interested in the process. They enjoyed watching someone take on challenges that seemed impossible and then find a way forward. This formula proved incredibly powerful. What began with a damaged Audi TT was becoming a movement that attracted attention from car enthusiasts all over the world. The audience was growing faster than anyone expected, and before long, larger industry figures would begin paying attention. The small channel that started with simple rebuild videos was gradually turning into one of the most talked about automotive success stories on YouTube, setting the stage for even bigger projects that would push both Mat Armstrong and his growing audience into entirely new territory. As the Audi TT project gained attention, Mat Armstrong began to realize that people were not simply interested in seeing a car repaired. They were interested in the entire journey. Every challenge, every setback, every unexpected problem became part of a larger story that viewers wanted to follow. This understanding changed everything. Instead of treating YouTube as a place to occasionally upload videos, he started seeing it as an opportunity to document bigger and more ambitious projects. With each successful rebuild, his confidence grew. More importantly, the audience grew alongside him. Subscribers arrived from different countries. Videos attracted millions of views, and a community formed around the channel. Many viewers had never repaired a car in their lives, yet they found themselves fascinated by the process. They enjoyed watching damaged vehicles return to the road and seeing complicated problems solved through patience and determination. This appeal reached far beyond traditional car enthusiasts. The channel was attracting people who simply love good stories. One project led to another, and the scale of the builds continued increasing. Cars that once seemed too expensive or too complicated gradually became realistic targets. Luxury vehicles, sports cars, and high-performance machines began appearing in the workshop. Each project brought new risks because the financial stakes were becoming much larger. A mistake on an ordinary vehicle could be frustrating, but a mistake on a high-value performance car could be extremely costly. Despite these risks, viewers kept returning because the uncertainty made the content more exciting. Nobody knew exactly how the story would end, including Matt himself. That unpredictability became one of the channel's greatest strengths. Unlike scripted television, where writers already know the outcome, these rebuilds unfolded in real time. Success was never guaranteed. Sometimes parts were difficult to find. Sometimes repairs took much longer than expected. Sometimes new damage was discovered halfway through a project. These obstacles created natural drama that could not be manufactured. The audience felt like they were experiencing the journey alongside him. As view counts increased and subscriber numbers climbed, the channel evolved from a personal hobby into a serious business operation. Larger projects required larger budgets. More vehicles meant more equipment, more tools, and more resources. What had once been a simple garage project was gradually becoming a full-scale content production operation. Yet despite this growth, the core formula remained the same. The videos continued focusing on real work, real challenges, and real solutions. That authenticity helped preserve the connection between creator and audience. Many fans appreciated the fact that success had not completely changed the channel's identity. Around this time, conversations within the broader media industry reportedly began taking notice of creators who could attract massive audiences without the support of traditional television networks. Companies across the entertainment world were observing how YouTube personalities were building loyal communities that often rival the audiences of established media productions. In this changing environment, creators like Mat Armstrong represented something valuable. They already possessed dedicated fan bases, proven storytelling ability, and global reach. Rather than spending years developing a new television personality, streaming companies could potentially partner with someone who had already demonstrated the ability to capture attention. Reports and speculation started suggesting that major streaming platforms, including Amazon and Netflix, were paying attention to creators who had successfully built large audiences online. While no major public bidding war was officially confirmed, the rumors themselves reflected a larger reality. The entertainment landscape was changing rapidly. Traditional media companies were increasingly interested in internet creators who could bring existing audiences with them. For Mat Armstrong, this speculation marked another remarkable stage of his journey. A few years earlier, he had been working ordinary jobs and wondering what direction his life would take. Now, people were discussing his future in the same conversations as some of the largest entertainment companies in the world. It was a dramatic transformation, but an even bigger challenge was approaching. The project that would truly elevate his reputation beyond YouTube and place him directly in the spotlight of the automotive world was still ahead. That challenge would arrive in the form of one of the rarest, most expensive, and most intimidating hypercars ever built. A vehicle that many believed should never be repaired outside an official factory environment. The project that truly changed everything for Mat Armstrong did not begin in his garage, or even in the United Kingdom. It started thousands of miles away in Miami, where a severely damaged Bugatti Chiron Per Sport appeared in the salvage market. Even among supercars, the Chiron Per Sport is something special. It is one of the most exclusive and expensive performance cars ever created, built in extremely limited numbers, and designed to deliver extraordinary speed and engineering excellence. For most people, owning such a vehicle is impossible. For most mechanics, repairing one is equally impossible. When a car of this level is involved in a major accident, it is often considered beyond practical repair. The costs are enormous. The technology is incredibly complex, and access to official parts and technical information can be extremely restricted. That is why many damaged hypercars end up being dismantled for parts or stored away indefinitely. Very few people are willing to take the risk of rebuilding them. Yet when Mat Armstrong saw the damaged Bugatti, he viewed it differently. Instead of focusing on the reasons why the project should not happen, he focused on the possibility that it could. It was the same mindset that had guided him throughout his career. Whether he was working on an Audi TT or a luxury performance vehicle, he approached each challenge as a problem waiting to be solved. However, this Bugatti was unlike anything he had attempted before. The financial risk alone was enormous. One mistake could cost thousands of pounds. One missing component could delay progress for months. Every decision carried consequences. Despite these obstacles, he decided to move forward. The moment news spread that Mat Armstrong was attempting to rebuild a Bugatti Chiron per Sport, the automotive community reacted immediately. Fans were excited, critics were skeptical, and industry observers were curious. Many people questioned whether the project could actually succeed. Others believed the challenges would simply be too great. Yet that uncertainty became one of the biggest reasons viewers were drawn to the series. Every episode felt like an event because nobody knew what would happen next. As work began, the scale of the project quickly became clear. The Bugatti was not simply damaged. It was an incredibly sophisticated machine filled with advanced systems, unique engineering solutions, and specialized components. Accessing information was difficult. Finding replacement parts was difficult. Understanding how certain systems operated was difficult. Even experienced professionals recognized that this was not an ordinary rebuild. Each step required careful investigation and problem solving. What made the project even more fascinating was that viewers were able to witness the process in real time. Instead of seeing only the finished result, they watched every stage of the journey. They saw setbacks, delays, frustrations, and breakthroughs. This transparency transformed the rebuild into something much larger than a mechanical project. It became a story about determination and persistence. The audience was no longer simply watching a damaged car being repaired. They were watching someone challenge assumptions about what was possible outside official manufacturer networks. As the series continued, interest expanded beyond Mat's existing fan base. Automotive enthusiasts, industry professionals, and casual viewers all began following the project. Media outlets discussed the rebuild. Social media conversations exploded with opinions and theories. Some people admired the ambition, while others doubted the feasibility of the project. Regardless of where they stood, they were paying attention. That attention helped elevate Mat Armstrong's profile to an entirely new level. The Bugatti rebuild became more than content for YouTube. It became one of the most talked about automotive stories on the internet. The project represented everything viewers loved about his channel: risk, uncertainty, creativity, and genuine problem solving. Yet the most surprising developments were still ahead. As the Bugatti was gradually taken apart and examined in detail, discoveries began emerging that challenged public perceptions about hypercars. These observations would spark debates across the automotive community and create some of the most widely discussed moments of the entire rebuild, further increasing interest in both the project and the creator behind it. As the Bugatti Chiron per Sport rebuild progressed, something unexpected began attracting almost as much attention as the repair itself. People were no longer focused only on whether the car could be rebuilt. They were becoming fascinated by what was being discovered inside the vehicle. For years, Bugatti had occupied a unique position in the automotive world. The brand represented exclusivity, extreme engineering, and near-mythical status. To many people, a Bugatti was not just a car. It was a symbol of perfection. Most owners never see the inner workings of these machines because they're designed to remain in pristine condition. However, Mat Armstrong's rebuild offered viewers a rare opportunity to look beneath the surface and examine the details hidden inside one of the world's most expensive hypercars. As components were removed and inspected, discussions started appearing across social media, automotive forums, and YouTube comment sections. Some viewers noticed that certain parts looked surprisingly familiar. Others pointed out similarities between components found in the Bugatti and those used elsewhere within the wider Volkswagen group. These observations quickly became some of the most talked about moments of the entire series. One detail that generated particular attention was the accelerator pedal. Many viewers expected every component inside a multi-million-pound hypercar to appear completely unique and handcrafted. Instead, some parts seemed more ordinary than people imagined. Similar conversations emerged around other components as the rebuild continued. To some viewers, These discoveries were surprising. To others, they were perfectly logical. Modern automotive manufacturing often involves sharing certain systems and components across multiple brands to improve efficiency and reliability. However, for many people watching the rebuild, this was their first real glimpse into how such vehicles are actually constructed. The result was a shift in perception. The Bugatti remained an extraordinary engineering achievement, but it also began to feel more connected to the broader automotive industry than many fans had previously believed. Importantly, these discoveries did not reduce the car's technical complexity. The Chiron Per Sport remained one of the most advanced performance machines ever built. Its aerodynamics, powertrain chassis engineering, and overall performance capabilities were still exceptional. Yet seeing familiar-looking components inside such an exclusive vehicle helped humanize the machine. It transformed the Bugatti from an untouchable object into something people could better understand. That understanding became one of the reasons the rebuild attracted such widespread attention. Viewers were learning about the realities of automotive engineering while following a dramatic story at the same time. The educational aspect of the content made it appealing even to people who were not dedicated car enthusiasts. They enjoyed discovering how complex products are actually built and how different industries operate behind the scenes. As these discussions spread online, Mat Armstrong's influence continued growing. His channel was no longer simply documenting repairs. It was shaping conversations throughout the automotive community. Each new discovery generated headlines, reactions, and debates. People who had never watched his content before began checking in to see what had been uncovered next. This growing attention reinforced the idea that his projects had become much larger than ordinary YouTube videos. They were becoming cultural events within the automotive world. Around the same time, speculation about interest from major media companies intensified. Observers pointed out that the Bugatti rebuild contained many elements that entertainment platforms actively seek. It featured high-stakes luxury vehicles, unexpected discoveries, and a charismatic creator leading the journey. Most importantly, it already had an audience. Unlike a traditional television project that requires years of development before proving its appeal, Mat Armstrong's content had already demonstrated ability to attract millions of viewers. This reality fueled ongoing discussions about the possibility of future partnerships with major streaming services. Whether those conversations were happening behind closed doors or simply being imagined by fans, one thing was becoming increasingly clear. Mat Armstrong had evolved far beyond the role of a typical automotive YouTuber.